In Hamden, Connecticut, near New Haven, is Hamden Hall Country Day School. It has a nursery school and kindergarten for average children of the average range of ability, and it also has Professor Omar Khayyam Moore, a Yale University sociologist, and his laboratory. He believes and is proving that children at a very early age, when usually they are taught next to nothing, can, in the proper environment, learn a great deal.
Well, the basic field of research is that of the behavioral sciences, psychology, sociology, parts of anthropology, and the study of human problem solving, what human beings can do, how they do what they can do, how human beings respond to the environments within which they find themselves, including the human environment.
The environment carefully created is that of an almost featureless building called a responsive environments laboratory. There is little sound, no bright colors, no parents allowed inside, nothing to distract the children from what they come here to do. They come once a day, taking about half an hour away from regular classes, and work in one of 5 air-conditioned, soundproof booths. At first, their parents were reluctant, but now there are 52 taking part, running in age from 3 to 6. And that is what Professor Moore thinks is the most creative and intellectually active period in a person's life, and he thinks largely wasted. So in this laboratory, as we'll see, he is trying to do something with it. The headmaster of the school, Edward McDowell, Jr., was almost fired for allowing this, but he survived, and now he is enthusiastic.
Well, the single greatest improvement that I expect is creating children who are more powerful inductive thinkers as opposed to our present deductive thinkers. Now, what we need is people who are trained in inductive thinking, who make decisions. These are the people who will make the country move in a far more dynamic society than we've had in the past.
Can you tell me your color, Sparkle? Yellow. What's this one? Orange. Orange?
Children learn touch typing this way. Each fingernail is painted with watercolor. The keys on the typewriter are colored to match, indicating which fingers are used to strike which keys. Then into a booth to dictate a sentence or two into a recording machine, which then plays it back, and the child types out the words.
Lisa Carpenter, it's time to go to the lab, dear.
Now, a child comes to this laboratory, we'll assume, with some command of his natural language. We may think of as a kind of matrix, a matrix of relations he's already worked out, holding between the syntax, the semantics, the pragmatics of the spoken language. Now, there's an alternative form of this language in its written form. They're largely isomorphic, and so we try to create conditions under which the child will make these interconnections between the spoken and the written form of the language. And we do this under conditions that we call autotelic. It's an environment in which things are done for their own sake and not for the sake of extrinsic rewards and punishments.
Come to April. April wants to feed you.
April Palm, 5 years old, has made up a sentence, recorded it, and as it's played back, she types it. She learns the relationships of sentences, words, letters, listening to them, translating them into letters, words, and sentences on paper, on a typewriter. These 5-year-olds, this one is Pamela Malley, now read, write, and spell at the 4th grade level.
Space, A, space, L, I, T, space.
Come.
A, N, D,
Oh,
carriage return.
April? I meant to do I am. How could I be so silly?
It's all right, you can do it now if you want.
The backspace will do I.
All right. Tab,
Oops, that's how.
T, H, backspace, E, backspace, E, T-H-E-N, then,
A-V-E-S-T-H-A-C-A-I-N.
Dr. Moore's own daughter, who is 7, has acquired some speed on the typewriter. She writes her own stories, reads difficult prose, and types 20 words a minute.
W-R-T-H-A-N-O-T-H-U-R-S. N-O-T-H-E-R. Another P-I-E-C-E-P. O-S-O-M-E-A-T. Company. The dog and the shadow. It happened that a dog had a piece of meat and was carrying it home.
An early problem in the laboratory was that it took one booth and one teacher for every child. Headmaster McDowell looked for a way out of that.
I don't think we have the necessary manpower, and that's why this project needs a third partner. And that partner is here in person of Mr. Richard Kober of the Thomas A. Edison Research Laboratories.
Well, the thought came immediately to me that this whole methodology of Omar could be automated. And that, as a matter of fact, automation may do more than just save manpower, that may have a very intrinsic value of its own. The more we look at these children operating our instruments, isn't it true that the presence of the human during their creative learning process actually is sometimes damaging? Now, there must enter a human being in the learning process. But there are certain things in our life done in solitude, in creative solitude.
Uppercase. Ampersand. G.
G.
And in this booth, an automated typewriter replaces the teacher. The loudspeaker calls out a letter. All the typewriter keys except that letter are locked, and the child has to find it. When he does, he types the letter, and the loudspeaker then calls out another one.
Comma. Comma.
Comma. Why comma?
T. H. 0. Underline. Semicolon.
Yellow key. Look for the yellow key.
Semicolon. S. D. Uppercase. M.
This is not a labor-saving device. This goes far beyond, I would say the initial purpose of the Industrial Revolution. Yes.
Y. E. 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 D.
Enough.
7.
We try to set things up so that the child will make all the proper interconnections between these four processes. However, there's also certain overall activities that we use to tie these subordinate processes together. Say, doing something like turning out a newspaper, which in the very process of turning out a newspaper, they're writing in the sense of composing, they're reading, they're listening, and they're speaking. Say a child begins typing at 2 years, 6 months. By the time that same child, if he's fairly bright, is, say, 6 years old, he may be capable of being an editor of our first grade newspaper.
A man was walking along a road and he slipped on a banana skin. He fell into the river and shouted so much that he made lots of bubbles.
9.
He made so many bubbles that he made one big bubble which carried him up into the sky.
X.
No one ever saw him again.
J. Uppercase.